Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Lytle, and I'm hosting Mortgage Coaches Training Thursday. So what this Training Thursdays involve, this is a QA. I would like you to open up the GoToMeeting area of your questions. Just have that set aside. Ask any questions you may have along the way, and we'll address them on the call. The other thing, what we're going to do today is we're going to really focus on the reinvestment strategy. So we're going to be going into that net worth area. So for that, what I want to do is find out where you're at with an edge. So we're going to launch a couple poll questions, only a couple of them. So if you please go ahead and respond to those poll questions. First, are you presenting different MI options to your clients? So that's the report I have up in the background, different MI options, monthly MI versus lender paid or single premium. So we only have 22% of the voting. Please go ahead and vote. So we'll be able to close out this poll. We're almost there. So right now, 100% do not show this option. So this will be a good option for you to learn, as well as to be able to then show you how to use that reinvestment strategy. So that's great. Thanks, Marcy. Let's go ahead and launch the next one. So this was one of the comparisons that we had this week in our support box, comparing an all-cash scenario versus a mortgage. It might not be the market that you're in, but this could be a great opportunity for a partner, financial partner, or a realtor to be able to show different options. So we're going to also use this type of a loan comparison to use the net worth area. So another way to focus on that reinvestment strategy. So Marcy, let's go ahead and close that out. That's 100% of no. I should answer that. So that's great. And lastly, have you used the reinvestment strategy? So this will be able to give us an idea of diving into it. What are you familiar with in Edge? So if we could go, okay, we've got a few people who have used it. That's great. It'll be interesting for those of you who have used it. Can you put in the question area? Is it just, have you used the lump sum? Are you doing just investing monthly savings, making a 15-year term? If you don't mind, put in the questionnaire. Give me an idea of how you're using that reinvestment strategy. So, okay, we have 82% of you who have not used it. So it's great. This is a great tool that we have in Edge, and we'll be able to show you that process. So I also want, for those of you who are new to Mortgage Coach, this is Training Thursday. If you feel that it's two events, stay on the call. You can learn a lot of different pieces we'll be jumping into. The other thing is we do have an Intro to Edge class every Friday at 9 a.m. and it's on our event calendars in our help section. I'll show you a little bit later how you can access this. Okay, perfect. Okay, Brian. He's used the monthly savings to shorten the term, and that's a great way because a lot of times people want to have a 15-year loan, but they don't want to lock up their money yet with that high payment. So this way you would be able to show them how to take that loan and pay it as 15-year. So with the MI comparison report, which you're looking at right now, the first thing I want to do is point out in the lower right-hand corner the share button. With the share button, that's a quick way for you to grab that link. So you could grab that link. This is what you would paste and put it in your email for your bar to click on. What I'm doing is pasting that report in our chat box. So if you want to click on the link of that report to follow along, you will have it there. So now the way I've set up this MI comparison, and it's a real quick, simple product to be able to create, or scenario. What I have done is I have created one product showing monthly MI, and this is the standard product that borrowers know. They have to pay mortgage insurance and they have to pay it monthly. So you have this option. Then you have lender paid MI, and which has no monthly MI, but your interest rate is higher than if you had a monthly mortgage loan scenario. And then you have that single premium, which is showing that same rate as your monthly MI, but you're going to have the single premium amount. And so with that, the difference would be cash to close because I did not add it to the loan amount, so you can see how that cash to close is a little bit higher. But they do not have monthly mortgage insurance. So with this, we'll be able to really start working with the borrowers, and this is how you can use Edge Live to reach out and describe each of these products. So for those of you who are unsure on highlighting, all you have to do is hover over a field, left click. And when we get into the report, I'll go further into how to be able to pull it up and use it for Edge Live. So with the 3 products, you can see in the payment stream for the monthly MI, I have 81 months of MI. It drops, and then I just have straight P&I payments. You can see with the lender paid MI, straight P&I, there's no mortgage insurance, and same with that single premium. So you can see that the payment stream doesn't have mortgage insurance. Another area, if you click on the more info, this also will provide you more information to be able to distinguish between those products. So you can see on our monthly MI, we're in our payment breakdown tab. You can see you have the monthly MI, but on the other 2 products, it is not there, and it shows you that lower payment. So you can see that you have that. You can see right above it that all 3 products has the exact same property tax as well as that hazard insurance amount. Then just to go over the closing cost screen, this is where you find that single premium. So you can see how the single premium product, there's that extra cost to be able to buy out that mortgage insurance, which the other 2 products do not have. So we have that as well. And then we're really going to focus into the reinvestment strategy screen. So here, what we're going to do is first go into the reinvestment strategy and show how you could do level payments. So we'll discuss that shortly, be able to make it all equal, apple to apples. We'll also compare going against 30-year and try to show a borrower how to pay it off in 15 years. So we'll give you that tool to be able to use with Edge. And then we'll start really diving in, and we're going to our second report, our cash purchase versus getting a mortgage. So with that, we're going to focus more on net worth. You can see in the lower right-hand corner, you'll be able to see the equity, which is the yellow part down here, versus their assets. So you could do the comparison of cash versus mortgage and really provide a borrower more understanding, be able to show them the wealth they could create by having a mortgage and also keeping their cash so for any incidences along the way. So those are the 2 areas we're going to work with. So first off, let's dive into the more MI comparison, and let me show you how you'll be able to create this report and be able to use it. So if you're following along, log into your Edge account, and you can create this report with me, or just follow through the screens. Get familiar with Edge. Just be inside it while we're going through it. Click on all the areas that I am showing you. So first off, you can see that I have my reports right here. If you're new and you want to start a new report, just click on New Client. That will give you a borrower-facing report, the total cost analysis, or the rent versus own. And the lower area is your partner-facing reports. These are for reaching out to realtors or financial planners. And you'll be able to provide a report with that, and that's new partner. So let's take a look at the MI comparison. Let's go to my first screen here, clients. So it's actually quite simple report to be able to create because you'll be using this copy function. So first off, I am keeping it as a marketing report. You can see we have individual versus marketing. And the difference is just we remove the borrower's first, last, and middle names as well as the co-borrower. So that's just the difference between individual and marketing. So then I put on a tag for my friendly name. This is your reference, and you can see that I'm labeling this. I used it for my training class. A good when you're working with partner open house flyers, because we do have a function for copying a report. So with this, you want to be able to identify which one for that particular realtor. So it's a great way to put the property address. So always place a friendly name in here, just identifying what you're doing with that loan. It could be just a purchase, an RO refi. Moving on, I just marked it as a purchase. That's all I need to do. I went ahead and placed in my purchase price, $350,000. I'm not going to put anything in my affordability, nor this section. This is just data collection. In this particular time, I'm just creating the report for MI options. And this is a good report just to be able to have in your arsenal, because when we're done here, I'll show you on the mobile device how you could take this report, have it there with a video, and you can use it like a business card. You know, as you see people, you'd be able to share that report with a video and all your information. So it's a great, just a standard report to have. So you can see I have it as 10% down, purchase price $350, my interest rate's 4%, and my term's $360. So if you have defaults and you have templates, if you're on an enterprise account, you could go ahead and select any templates that you have in this area. And when we go into the single premium, I'll show you how you'll be able to use this drop down to identify the single premium. Okay, Greg is asking if he can auto-populate these data fields from the LOS to avoid double data entry. Well, we do have a couple APIs, Greg. We with our enterprise accounts, we do have an API with Optimal Blue, MPC, which I believe now is called Jungo. We have an Encompass interface, quite a few. So if you email us our support, to support@mortgagecoach.com, let us know what LOS you have, and we could go ahead and reach out and talk about it. So we do have APIs. A basic one everyone has is the Fannie Mae 3.2. You can always upload your data. That's your contact and your basic data. So we do have that as well. So great question. So now, and then also, Greg, we get a lot of people mentioning that they don't want to do data entry. When you get an edge and once you start feeling really comfortable with it, you'll notice all you have to do is a first name, market, purchase if you're doing a purchase, sales price, and then go to product. So as you start going through it, it is rather quick, and you'll be able to start learning all these functions. So, okay, so we have our basic fixed rate product, 10% down. I'm advancing my screen. And so with that, I went ahead and placed 15 days for my prepaid interest, and you can see how I hover my mouse over that. It gives me that dollar amount. And then I'm going into my closing costs for my fees. So with that, if you're on an enterprise account, you might have fee templates already built for you. So if you do, you could just go ahead, find your templates and pull it down. You also have an option to identify the state to narrow down that list. And even if you're on an individual account, you could create these fee templates to, again, make it faster, make it quick getting through Edge. So we do have a video tutorial on how to create this. If you want a little more information, maybe at the end of the call we'll be able to fit that in. So if you do want more information on fee templates, please place it in the question area. Also want to point out, once you've developed a fee template, you'll see you can save it as a template right down at the lower right-hand corner. So you'll be able to save it and use it for future loans. Also, as you start using templates, pulling it down, you might have a different product, modified your fees. Again, save it as a new template. Don't ever redo the work. So always keep building your arsenal of templates just to make it go through quicker. So once I'm done, I'm applying to the loan, and you'll see how it grouped all my APR fees, prepaid escrows, and non-APR costs. Moving to our monthly cost screen, I went ahead and opened up the percentage field just by pressing on the percentage there, put in my estimates, and I put in my MI factor. So I am collecting 2 months reserve, 4 months taxes, and a 12-month premium. So that's the basis of our conventional product. So now when you advance to the next one, we're going to create our lender paid MI. And let me show you a quick way of being able to do this. We'll go ahead and override what I have. What you want to do is use this copy from button. So with that copy from button, you'll see all the products you've created. So I'm going to go ahead and copy from my monthly MI because that was my first product. Once I press OK, you'll notice that my interest rate went down to 4% because I copied all that data from my first product. Now I need to modify it. One of those items would be replacing the interest rate, and the other would be removing my monthly MI. So once I've created the product, I use my copy from, I'm adjusting my product, changing my interest rate, advancing the screen. My fees copied over. So unless your fees are different, you would go into the closing costs. Otherwise, move to the monthly cost screen, and let's remove that mortgage insurance. So went ahead and removed that mortgage insurance from the file, and it is no longer there. Okay, Brian, I noticed you put a, oh, okay. So there is, Brian also provided a video tutorial, which is great. If you go into our help button, and I'll show you in a little bit, you could do searches, find out video tutorials on any type of topic. So always search fees, you can find that, and we can also place that link that Brian provided us, make it easy for you and place it in that chat area. So now we've built our first and our second product, and now it's the single premium. Again, what we're going to do is just do a copy function. So if I go from copy from, again, this is exactly like my monthly MI, except no monthly MI, and then we'll have our single premium. So you copy from that product. In this case, I don't have to modify the rate because it's the same, but I do have an upfront premium. So if you go to the drop down, if you had an FHA, VA, USDA, you would select it, but we're going for single premium. What this field will do for you, as you advance the screen, you now have an upfront single premium field. You would have the FHA or VA funding fee or the guarantee fee if it was the USDA. You can add that amount to the loan amount if you choose to, or keep it as cash to close. So for this purpose right now, I'm going to keep it as cash to close so we could keep our loan amounts all the same. And this is something we'll work about on when we get into the reinvestment. So now let's remove that monthly mortgage insurance. And you can see how we have that third product. So this is a quick way of using that copy from button to produce the additional products. So you can see the green button. If I wanted to add a fourth product, you would just go ahead and click on that add another product, and you can create that fourth product. So now let's go into our reinvestment strategy. So I do have it showing first. Here's interest in MI. So let's check this out first. So what we're going to be doing is going back and forth between the report and our analysis summary here. We're going to be working with the reinvestment strategy button in the middle left, as well as our short-term and long-term. So we'll dive into all these factors in this screen. So first off, let's just check out interest in MI paid. So I'm going to advance my screen, and I have my report open, and we're going to see in that lower right-hand corner how that will change, and it will show interest in MI comparison. And I do have the right report up, don't I? There it goes. So, and those of you who have clicked on the link, you would have seen that flip as well. So this is just showing the difference in the interest in MI, and you can see how that single premium, the comparisons between each of them. So you're paying less in mortgage insurance and interest through that single premium product. And when you click on that more info, it just provides you all the details. So you can see you have the total interest in MI they paid over that 15 years, total pity payments they've done, principal, equity. You have their loan balance as well as the home value. So there's a lot of details that are in that long-term area. So not only with interest in MI, you can show net worth. So let's go back to Edge. I'm going back to my analysis summary, and let's click on net worth. Anytime you make a change, you always want to advance the screen because that produces your save, and then your report's going to change. So you can see how I changed it back to net worth. And this is just showing the equity. You'll notice at the base we have it green, or it's like a peach color for assets. We haven't done any reinvestment at this point of time, so it's just showing our equity on the loan. So you can see how much equity they have built up on that mortgage. So now let's go play with the reinvestment strategy screen. The other item I want to do is click on that more info, and this is the screen we're going to work with. So what we're going to do is, you can see at the very top you have your monthly savings. You can see the highest price is that monthly MI. The lender paid MI, you're saving $41.80, and that single premium, you're saving $181. So what we're going to do is reinvest this monthly savings on these two products, so then the pity payment will be even at that point of time. They'll be putting the exact same monthly cost in. So this way you're comparing apples to apples, because there are some borrowers that will look, well, I'm paying an interest, higher interest rate, my payment's higher. Some people want to just be able to see those differences and want to see it apples to apples. So let's go into Edge and let's work on that reinvestment strategy. So if you're following along, go ahead and click on that button there in the middle left, and it will open up that matrix to start working with your strategy. So you can see in this upper area, and this whole matrix is basically similar to that on the report. It's almost identical. So what you're going to be doing is you have your payment listed here, plus the monthly savings in green at the very top. We want to make the payments all level. So by doing that, I'm taking the $41.80 and place it in the reduction payment field. And that is going to apply toward principal. And from that, it does now shows you that you have a freedom point. Instead of 30 years, it's a little over 28. So you can see how they're paying it off, and how we had someone mention how they geared toward a 15-year loan. So we'll work with that too. So let's reinvest the $181.13. And with that, you can see how it dropped to a little over 24 years. So you could see level payments, if they could qualify for each one, which is the better option. So now let's press OK, and let's take a look at the report. So we want to make sure that our report's updated. So you advance the screen, and let's take a look at our report. So with that, the first thing, let's go ahead and go into the more info. But first, I want to point out the reduction payment. So you can see we have it on the face there, and then you can see how the $21.51 is the same amount in all three places, how we carried it across. Now if you click on that more info, you can go in there, and now you can see that reduction payment exactly as our matrix, and you'd be able to show them keeping that same payment as if you had that monthly MI. Applying that difference to principal, you would actually pay off your loan a lot quicker. So now let's go back into Edge and show you a couple other options that you could do. So let's go back into that reinvestment strategy. So now we have everything as level payments. And as we had mentioned earlier, we had a question in there that people use it to show what kind of payment you would need to make in addition to your P&I, so you can pay off the loan in 15 years. And so what you would do is just put in a number. I'm starting with $500 added to principal each month, and that will take me to have it paid off in 18.67 years. So let's try 600. And you can see how you're getting closer, but you'd be able to provide this information to your borrower. So if they want to be able to pay off that loan during that 15-year period, you can let them know how much that would be. So you can see how I was just playing around with that figure, and now I'm definitely at a 15-year mark. So let's go ahead and place it with these others as well. And let's see how these will be. Oh, come on, it's all the same amount. Okay. So, and then let's start that out. So, almost there. So with that, we have them all now at 15-year mark. Let's check out the report. Let's see how by applying that to have it paid off in the 15 years, how that will reflect on the report. So what I've done to clear out all my highlights is there's a clear all button in the middle. I press that and it clears out all my highlights. So now you'll see we have our freedom point. So you could point out that you're showing them it takes an additional amount of money going toward principal to have a freedom point of 15 years. You could then also show over here, you have the net worth between all those three products. And then you can see that the loan balance, everything has now been paid off. So that's one way of showing how you'll be able to help that person pay off that mortgage quicker with a 30-year loan, showing them how to pay it off in a 15-year. So now let's go back to that reinvestment strategy. Let's remove all these figures. And let's just place back even payments. And let's just put that monthly amount in here. So now you're talking to a borrower, and possibly that borrower will be getting a bonus, or they know they're going to have a lump sum of money and they do want to apply it to principal. How can you do that in Edge to be able to show the borrower? So what you would need to do is double click on that cell and it opens up into another matrix. So you can see how you can identify the month and how much you want applied on that particular month. So what this is reading on month 1, apply $41.80 toward principal and continue for the life of the loan. So now say on the 12th month, I know I'm going to have an additional $50,000 that I want to apply to principal. It's simple. You just click on the bottom left, add. So now on month 12, I want to add $50,000, but I also want to account for that $41.80. So I have my $50,000 plus my monthly savings. But we need to make sure on our 13th month we're not applying that $50,000 again. So we need to reset that back to the $41.80. So I'm adding another line item. So on the 13th month, let's place it back to $41.80. So you can see how you could go ahead and do a lump sum payment. So if you're talking to a borrower and as you're starting getting their goals and understanding their financial situation, if they are getting a bonus and they're going to apply it, you'll be able to show them how to do that through this process. So let's go ahead and press OK. And you can see how that extra 50, it's jumping them down to that freedom point a lot quicker. So it's a little over 20 years. So now what I want to do is remove that. So I'm just getting on that line and pressing the delete button. So now we're back at level payments. We invested our monthly savings. But the other item we need to think about is, what about monthly mortgage insurance once it's dropped from the loan? Well, once it's dropped, we want to reinvest it again to keep it equal payments. So let's double click on our monthly MI, and we're going to work it the same way as that lump sum payment. So let's double click, and you'll see at the base, you'll see MI cutoff month, 82, last MI payment of this amount. So what I'm doing is changing the month 1, and I'm putting in my month when my MI has dropped. So on month 82, I no longer have mortgage insurance of $181.13. So at that point in time, I want to reinvest that money back toward my principal. So I have went ahead and added that. Whoops. Let's go ahead and delete that. Yeah, month 82. And let's press OK. And now you'll see by reinvesting that, the freedom point now is 26.25 years. Reinvested the monthly savings is a little longer than that 26, but still that single premium is the better choice financially. So let's press OK, advance this screen so you register that amount, and let's go and take a look at our net worth. So you can see now that you have more savings in that area because you're reapplying that extra additional money toward principal. Okay, So now with that, let's go in and let's talk a little bit about cash versus a mortgage. So before I move on, I should ask, anyone have questions in that reinvestment strategy? Are there any potential scenarios that you might need to put in here that you've worked with borrowers? If so, place it in the question area. Let me show you how you'll be able to use this strategy screen with those different types of options. So now we're going to move from our monthly MI options. So it's a great report to be able to have, build it, just to be able to provide information to your borrower. Next, let's go to our cash purchase. So this is actually, it's be able to show the borrower really the difference on building that equity through the house or through their assets. So with that, what I have done, let's go ahead and clear out all the highlights. Now with the cash purchase, you can see in this particular case, I'm using a $1.4 million loan. So with that, you can see I'm paying cash for this, no rate time, and I'm comparing it with a 7-1. Since I have a jumbo loan, I want to be able to provide that lower interest rate with that ARM product. So with that, I have my 7-1 ARM product next to it. So let's go into Edge and let's show you how to build the scenario, and then we'll talk about it further. So first off, when you go into Edge, I want to click on the Help button. So if you click on the Help button, and what I'm doing is putting cash versus mortgage. I want to show you our search engine. So say you had a question, you wanted to be able to show that. You can see how you place it in here, and you notice, how can I show a purchase versus cash scenario? So if I clicked on that, we have this one as a frequently asked questions, and you could just walk through this and be able to create your purchase versus mortgage loan or scenario. So want to be able to point out how you'd be able to easily find in the help area a lot of those answers to some questions. So now I have my purchase versus cash already set up. So let's go ahead and click on that. And you can see again, I made it a marketing, and the only difference is just removing those fields for the borrower's names. Again, I put my friendly name field so I know it's for today's call. I marked it as a purchase, put in that purchase price, and then I'm just moving to my products. So you can always see those first 5 screens are very basic, very simple, but you can build them out, and on Thursday's call or Friday's intro call, we dive into those fields a lot more. So what I've done is I went ahead and put my cash purchase. All I've done is carried over my purchase price, and that's all you have to do. We do not have any fees because they're paying cash here, but you do want to show the monthly cost, just so there is monthly cost for their taxes and insurance. So we're just going to go ahead and place it on there so they'll be able to see you still have to pay out of pocket taxes and insurance. So that's what that 1866 is. So now let's create our next product, which is a 7-1 ARM product. So I have my purchase price, and I have 20% down. My interest rate is 3.75, 360, and if you haven't done ARM loans, we're going to be going through that. So what you would want to do is change it from fixed to ARM. And then when you advance the screen, you're now going to have to fill in your information for an ARM. And as you start creating them, you could have a product template in your drop down for a 7-1 ARM, which will have all your templates. So check there if you're creating an ARM product with me. But if you haven't, you could fill out this information. I'll tell you how to do it and save it as your own template, and then you'd be able to have it for the next time you do a 7-1. So in this particular case, my first adjustment could be 5%. My payment is changing on the 85th month. My periodic rate is 2% thereafter, and my payment's changing 12 months after that initial 7 years. The ceiling I have is 5 above my start rate, so 8.75. Margin is 2.75. And it's really great with the index. Just use that drop down and find the index you're using, select it, and you can see that we already have that index percentage. And the floor, if you don't have a floor, just go ahead and place that margin in there because that would be your floor on the loan. So now you have the option of best or worst case. I'm showing best for now, but we will discuss worst. Best case will take your interest rate to that fully index plus margin. This is what your APR is calculated on, but we also have worst case. Worst case will take the interest rate and increase it how the ARM product parameters up until that ceiling, that full rate. That's the worst case scenarios. That's the boxes that are on your till. So with it, you have both scenarios, and it's always good to show both options to the borrower to be able to show them this is the best case, but here's the worst case if rates change. So once we're done working with the net worth, I'll show you how you could add that additional ARM product using that copy button and just put the option worst next to it. So I'll be able to show you that in a moment. Fees, I went in to my closing cost details, pulled down my fees, applied to loan. I made sure I put 15 for 15 days interest, and then my monthly costs. Just opened up those percentages and placed them in there. So if you haven't done templates before, what you would need to do is just at the base there, save as template. So if you click on it, you can identify it by a different name, or it just takes that name from your product. And you will then have a template for the next time you do the 7-1 ARM, and you wouldn't have to worry about doing those parameters. So you can add another product. So right now, let's just take a look at the report, and then we're going to come work in the analysis summary. Actually, we'll go work in the analysis summary now. So let's go ahead. I marked it as net worth. Let's click on that reinvestment strategy. And this is working a little differently because initially we stayed in the upper section and just reinvested toward principal. If now you'll look, we can have a savings balance. They could reinvest in savings. You can also, if you place that savings balance in, you can see if they have enough money for cash to close. I'll show you where this is in Edge. But for this purpose, we're going to work with investment balance. So we used all the money to purchase our home, so we're starting at 0. Because it's going to be a really small account in the beginning, I only have a nominal rate, so I just placed it at 1%. I then take how much money I'm going to make on that payment, my P&I payment, and I place it in this area here. So that's how my setup is for the cash purchase. So we're taking account of the P&I payment, not taxes and insurance. That's what the $7,000 is including. But the P&I payment, this amount, we're just going to put it back into a savings account to see it grow. So this is what you could do with cash, and that's what their options would be. But what if they decided to take a mortgage? Instead of putting that full amount, they only put down 20%, and this is the remaining balance. So we started our account with the remaining balance, and because of that, you're going to get a higher interest rate from your institution. So I'm placing 5 in. If you think this should be a different number, I don't mind using it. Just place it in the question area. I have it at 5, and unlike the cash purchase, I'm leaving this empty because every month I'm making my payment to that mortgage company, so that money is an outflow. So then you can see now at the investment at the end of the 15 years how much greater that is. So let's take a look at the report. So I'm going to press OK. I'm showing it as net worth. So let's advance the screen and take a look at the report and dive into this a little bit more. So now what we're doing is focusing on that net worth area. You can see on our graphs that we have two distinct colors here separating their assets versus their equity. So the green you can see is the equity in their home being growing over that 15-year period. And then you can see the assets. You know, that's the savings account. So it started a lot greater because you had the money that you didn't put down on the house. So click on that more info. You can see and show the borrower that investment balance, how it's accruing, how it's growing for them, and as well as the home value is the same. So I'll show you too how you can show that value of your home increasing. But they also still have that loan balance of $708 at the end of that 15-year period. So they still owe on that. So you can see with that how you'd be able to show that to the borrower, be able to show them if you get a mortgage, you're going to have a lot more equity or assets, a lot more liquid cash to be able to use. So it's a great way of being able to point out in a graphical format something a little bit easier and side by side for those people who you're talking to, cash versus a mortgage. So hope that helped. Gives you just a different aspect of what you can do in Mortgage Coach. So now what I want to do is move on and let's work with our mobile app. So with that, if you have your mobile app, go ahead and bring it handy. Let's go ahead and bring up my reflector. Great. So what we're going to do first is I have my report open. What I want to do is show you how real quick to download the app, and then we're going to start working with that app, be able to show you how you can share the report, go into Edge Live, and also be able to record a video all from your mobile app. So first I am going to show you, I'm going to go to our, I'm using an iPad, and I'm going to my App Store right here. So all you have to do, it's really quick, really simple, is in your search engine, just put Mortgage Coach. And when your borrower or a partner is clicked on your link, if they do not have the Mortgage Coach app, it directs them directly to that app for downloading. So you don't really have, you don't need to provide them instructions. As soon as they click on the link, it does take them to download the app. You want to download both. RateWatch is part of your membership, same login, email, and password as your Edge account. So go ahead and make sure that's downloaded. And while I go back to Mortgage Coach, I do have a question in the box, so let me go there. Let's see. Okay, before we move on, David has a question regarding the investment assets. And let me just go into my Edge account real quick. Okay, yes, David is asking about, does investments and assets carry over from the affordability page? And I'm glad you asked this, David, because there is that connection. So let me, okay, let me go into the MI comparison to show you the difference on that one. So what he is asking is, in the affordability section, those are the two screens I sort of just passed over real quickly. You have a saving balance field, and you don't have to key anything in, but I always suggest if you know it, go ahead and place it in there because it gives you an idea if they have enough cash to close. So you can put in that nominal rate. So this information automatically goes into that reinvestment strategy. So now that we click on that button, you can see the savings balance now has that dollar amount carried over, as well as the interest rate. So in the same instance, David, you could go ahead and use the payment field to apply directly to savings instead of the investment or toward principal. So you have three different ways to be able to show that investment to the borrower. So great for pointing that out, making that connection between the affordability section and that reinvestment screen. So, okay, so now let's move back to Mortgage Coach. Let's go ahead and get that app back up. And any other questions? Those are great questions. Put them in the question area and I could go ahead and address them. So now once you have downloaded the app, this is the home page of the Mortgage Coach app. So with that, I want to point out a couple things. So if they clicked on the link, it automatically will display here. This arrow will allow them to view the report. You also have a history button. So as you're viewing different reports for different borrowers, you have a history as well. So if you click on that, you can see all the different Edge reports that I have viewed in recent times. So you have that here. You can always click on any of those and view the report. So you have your history. What I'm going to do is, let's see, if you're following along, type in this number here, and let me go ahead and show you real quick. On the desktop lower right, there's that share button with the link. What I'm going to do is, you can see that link number, and since you don't have the link, I want to show you a quick way of just placing a number of the presentation on your app. So what I'm doing is, you have the HTTPS, the /mcedge.tv. This is automatic. All you really need to do is key in that code at the end. So what I'm going to do is type in 16S0T6. So if you're following along and want to download it, it's just 16S0T as in Tom and 6. And then I'm just pressing that arrow key, and that will take me to my report. So just want to click on it. It automatically takes you there. The borrower is going to click on the link, automatically will take them there. You don't have to worry about that function, but I'm giving you the understanding of the full app. So the borrower always has to click on that to be able to view the presentation. Oops. And then this is how the presentation will appear on the app. You could see with it, we have the same 4 quadrants on the desktop as well as on the mobile app. You have the summary, which is the upper left, monthly payment, which is the upper right, short-term, lower left, and the net worth is the long-term area. So if you go into the summary area, you can see how they would have that same information that you see on the screen here. You can see the highlights are exactly the same. You'll also, at the very base, you have your payment breakdown, closing costs, and reinvestment, which is the same information as going into your More Info tab. And if I click on closing costs, it will go ahead and change it to my closing costs as well. So what I'm doing is, when I'm clicking on my desktop, I'm driving the report on the mobile device. And to do that, let me show you 2 ways of doing it. You can do it directly from the desktop, or you can do Edge Live through your mobile device. So I'm going to go ahead and place my mobile in the lower left-hand corner. And let's go to Edge, and we'll discuss the link, how to send the link, and then we'll start talking about Edge Live, and then we'll go into our settings on the mobile device. So what I'm going to do is go to the very last screen, presentation. You'll see jump outs right above it. And I'm going to click on preview, which is my very last screen. So with that, you'll see 2 buttons. You'll see a preview button and you'll see generate link. So what I'm going to do is click on generate link, and you'll see when you do that, you get your link. This is the same link as in that share button in the lower right-hand corner of the report. So when you copy this, this is what you paste in your email for the borrower to click. Then, real quick, you could add audio through the desktop, and then we'll show you how to add audio through your mobile device. Lower left-hand corner, if you're on the desktop, there's a record message button that you click. I'm going to allow my camera to be used. And hello, everyone. I'm Lori. So with that, you'll see at the very base here all your different buttons. So you have your record button, and as soon as I press the record, you can see it's recording now. You also have a pause button and a stop, and if you want to remove a video, you just press the trash can. And on your desktop, if you don't have a camera, not to worry because we have it on the mobile device now, but you also have the option to click here to do a record audio. But when you're doing a report, or video, what you want to do is make sure you have eye contact, want to introduce yourself, provide a little bit of information about the loan options, and do a call to action. And this video is just a quick way of introducing yourself to the borrower. Another way people use the video is to be able to, once they are working with the borrower, the commitment's been made, they use the video for a follow-up. So you'd be able to use that as well for check items and things like that. So it's a great communication tool that you can use with your borrower. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and press stop, and that's my recording's complete. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out the video here, and then we'll be able to talk a little bit more about recording the video on the iPad. So that's how you'd be able to record on the desktop. And then I want to point out, let's see what time it is. Let's go ahead and show record on the mobile. So let me open this up a little bit. And this is providing you a little bit more freedom by being able to use your mobile device a lot more. So I'm swiping to the left to get me to my home screen, and you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner the silhouette. If you do not have the silhouette, you do not have the latest version. So make sure you go to the App Store and download the latest version of the Mortgage Coach app. So once you click on that, you're going to go, they're going to ask you to log in. So I'm going to sign in. And then it brings you to this page. It's showing me for my today that I've had 9 views on my reports. And of that, there were 3 reports that I was using. So you can see how many reports you've worked on for that day and how many views you've had for that day. You also have a performance down on the lower right, and in Edge, just be able to show you this real quick. Just showing you the comparisons to get used to the difference between it. But you'll have the graphs over here showing the different clients and partner reports just as you have in Edge. So I want to work on our clients files. So let's go into our clients files. You can see here's my MI comparison that we were just working on, same with that ARM product. So with that, let's go into my purchase versus cash, because I want to be able to place a different video on this one. My MI, I worked on the desktop. We're going to go into the total cost analysis, and there's the different options you could do. You could view the report, you could place a video on your report, or live reporting, that's Edge Live. So let's go into the video, and am I going to use the camera or the album? If you do not see the album here, this means that when you logged in, there's a question asking to use your albums on your device. So if you don't see that, it's just a switch when you go log in. So with that, when you're doing follow-ups, and you can always just do one video showing your follow-up process, and you can upload it. Just keep in your album. You're doing the loan. They've made that commitment. Now you can do a follow-up, and you could just do an upload. But with this, what I'm going to do is just use my camera. So I'm going to press the camera button. And hey everyone, so what I have with my iPad, it's facing me. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to change it so it's now viewing our office, or my iPad, or my fingers. There we go. So with that, you can see I'm pointing to the screen, and with the mobile device now, you have so many more options. So you can talk, you could be in an open house, you could discuss your loan options, and you can see how I'm just turning a circle. I'm in our green room. You'd be able to capture the open house as well. Or if you're just providing information to have a generic report, I've seen people take it out in front of outside in a nice location and doing that as well. So you can see how easy it is to be able to, I'm going to cancel down at the bottom, to be able to use that camera. So with that, even if on the desktop you don't have a video, everyone has mobile devices now, and you have access to place that video. And it's important for your borrowers to be able to hear you, understand, hear your message and what you have to offer. So always place that video. Next I want to do is show you live reporting. Live reporting can work just like, let's pull up my report, just like from the desktop. So with that, you can see you can open up and I can start highlighting different items. Whoops. And I'm doing that on my iPad. And I think because I have I have the wrong product up. There we go, my report. So with that, you can see how you'll be able to use Edge Live. You'll be able to reach out to the borrower. I think I got the wrong report again. But first, to make the connection, what I want to do is, because a lot of people haven't used Edge Live, and Edge Live will make your job easier with your borrowers. Reason for that is if you're sending them an email currently or a fee worksheet or an Excel, a lot of times when you go through that conversation, they don't see it, and you want to be able to sort of like point at the paper. It's right here, and that's what you could do with Edge Live. So what I have done is taken the link to my report, I placed it in the web tab, and this is just as if a borrower is going to go ahead and view the report. You see how they have that disclosure. So let's go ahead and pull this off. And I'm going to place my report side by side for you to be able to give you more of an understanding of how Edge Live works. So let's go back to Edge. Generate link, I'm just kicking on up Edge Live. And all that's doing is bringing up a report for me to work with in Edge Live. So you can see the difference between, once I click on I understand, the difference between these reports is on the bottom is that clear all button. So I know on the left hand side I have a clear all button, then that's telling me that is my mortgage coach report that I'm working in. That's the loan officer's report. So what I'm also going to do is bring this back over so we have both of these reports going, and you can really see Edge Live. Okay, so it's T6. I'm going to remove that on my iPad. SOX T6. Okay, and then it's going to open that up. Press I understand, stop my video, place it in the corner. So the right-hand side is the borrower's copy. If they opened it on the desktop, this is what they're seeing. If they opened it on their mobile device, this is what they're seeing. And as you as a loan officer can drive their report by going to the preview, and I have my clear all button report, my loan officer's report. I'm going to monthly MI title, clicking on it, and it clicks on that whole column here. You'll see how the borrower's copy on the right-hand side, it went ahead and highlighted all that information, and it drove my report as well. Now let's talk about, I'm clearing out all the highlights with my clear all button. You can see how it removed all those highlights. And now let's talk about the lender paid MI. So when I highlight lender paid MI, you can see how it's highlighted on my desktop, and it had moved my mobile device, and it also has that highlighted. So this is how you could really reach out to the borrower and discuss those reinvestment strategies with them by clicking on that reinvestment strategy tab. And you can see on the iPad, it's that reinvestment right there. It just went ahead and moved to that screen. So I'm going to highlight my different reduction payments. And you can see how it's highlighting on the borrower's copy. You can even click on the custom area and talk about how you reinvested that MI. And it will also go ahead and open up the screens. And it looks like it's not. I've got to check that out, but it will do it. You can see in your closing costs, if you want to discuss closing costs with them, go into the fee details to be able to explain the difference and what a competitor may be charging versus you, you have that option. You can drive down to the different areas and it will go ahead and do exactly what you are doing through Edge Live. So with that, that's how you can drive a report through the desktop, and then through your mobile device. You can also drive it by going back to that silhouette. Click on that silhouette. I'm going into clients and I'm clicking on my MI comparison. I'm going into my total cost analysis and I want to work on live reporting. So if I'm out of the office, got a call from my borrower, they had a couple questions, I could then just dive into the report. Maybe it was on closing costs. And then you'd be able to, you can see I'm driving my desktop version. Let's go ahead and move it to the payment breakdown. You know, this, I just marked it here on my iPad to be able to talk about that. And you can see how it went ahead and drove the report. If I move it back and I want to go into my monthly payment savings, you notice it went ahead and closed that more info. And now let's go into our monthly payment savings. We're showing the graphs. And now I'm clicking on the more info button and you can see how it drove my report. So you don't have to be in an office to be able to reach out and just make those that conversation with the borrower. You'll be able to use your mobile device and drive that with Edge Live. So with that, and we're at the top of the hour, so that is it for our call today. What I'm going to be doing is staying around for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, want to see anything, please let me know. Put it in the question area. And we have one more poll question real quick before we leave today. So Marcy, if we could go ahead and launch that poll question. Let's see. There we go. So we would like your feedback. This is Training Thursday, and we want to hear what you want to learn in Edge. So if you have a particular scenario that you want to work on, a particular area within Edge, email us, and we will go ahead and show that on our Training Thursday. So let us know what you need, that you want to learn, and we'll go ahead and provide that to you. Have a safe 4th of July. I will be hanging around for a few minutes if you have any questions, and enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thank you. Hi, Steve. This is the easiest way to sign up for the class. So in your Edge account, click on that Help button. So I'm clicking on Help, and you have access to monthly calendar events. And let's see if they, yes, it is July. You'll be able to see our Tuesday coaching calls. Sign up for those if you like. Training Thursday, you've already signed up for that one. And Friday intro class is right here. And we will be hosting it tomorrow, so jump on. It's a pretty quiet day. Any kind of questions, we could definitely go through it slow. So that's how you sign up for that one. Also want to point out, everyone, we do have MCU courses. If you click on this link at the very base, it gives you the topics. And with that, you can see all the different things you can actually do in Edge that you're probably unaware of. So sign up for these classes, and as you can, go ahead and attend them. There's a lot of great material here for you to use in Edge. These training classes are usually less than 30 minutes, just a quick way of getting in there. So there you go, Steve. That's how you register for those calls. And also, one last thing. going back to our knowledge base, whoops, our home screen. We also have our coaching calls archived. So today's call will also be listed down here, all our Training Thursdays, as well as our Tuesday coaching calls and webinars. We had one with Mitch Kiter on TRID, so we had that in June. So any other questions, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close out now. There's no other questions. Happy 4th, everyone. Stay safe.